Hi, BJ. Thank you for coming to talk with me today. Um, I just wanted to talk to you today about some things that are going on with you. Do you have any uh, concerns or issues, or what's going on with you in your life right now?
I've been facing quite a bit of stress balancing work, family, and school. I run a ministry. It's a startup ministry. So for 2 years, I worked on starting the ministry. So I still kind of had my own schedule and a lot of time to flex and didn't really have to have time management skills because I made my schedule and kind of felt like it'd be that way since I'm the director of the program, but that's not how it worked out. Just have to put in more hours since I'm the director. And so praise God, it started. We brought in our first ladies on August the 1st, and now we have six. And those six ladies take a lot of time because they're coming out of addiction. And so I thought maybe I'll have some extra time at work to do some of my, because I'm allowed to do education by my board. And so, thought I'd get put in some of my classwork at work. But it doesn't work that way because when my office door is closed, somebody's knocking. If it's open, they're always in here. So, and I have children and a husband and a dog that I have to take care of. And am trying to finish this degree. And so it's just been, and I'm an overachiever. I feel like I always have to keep that 4.0. And this semester and last semester are the first two that my grades really dropped some. And so I'm really stressed out about it.
Do you feel like, so you said that this past semester you feel like your grades are doing a little bit worse. Do you feel like everything with the ministry and stuff like that, has it gotten busier and stuff? Do you feel like there's something different going on with life, that maybe is more chaotic that would be causing you to be doing worse on your grades right now? Or
Yeah, currently I had some situations happen in my marriage that made me very uncomfortable, and I'm newly married, and so I had to address some of those last semester, and I thought that was why my grades dropped. And then this semester, it's been kind of the same thing. And I think it's just that time management. I don't have my own schedule anymore. I technically should be able to create my own schedule, but in order to meet the requirements or the responsibilities I have daily, I have to kind of stay by that schedule. My husband works second shift, so he doesn't get off till midnight, Monday through Friday. Which is not necessarily a bad thing because of our careers, because we get to spend a little time to watch movies. And then the weekends are ours pretty much if I don't have visitation here. But yeah, I think the ministry, and I had an administrator that was hired to do all of the paperwork, and she abruptly quit without a notice and left me to do all of the paperwork. So me and my night tech have been kind of tag team in some of that extra work. So where I should have had time to do my classwork where it was scheduled in, I'm now having to do paperwork to make sure we meet like the federal government's requirements for reporting. So yeah, there's been a little extra stress added.
yes, well, I can imagine that running a ministry, directing a ministry, and then school and um, all of those I don't want to say physical, but all of those different events in life going on, and then on top of it, it sounds like some emotional things with marriages. I know that a lot of times, if there's things in the families that's just a little off kiltered, it can kind of mess with everything. I mean, that can be, it's just that extra stress that can add to it all and make it just that much harder. Is there, you said that you have six ladies now that are working with your ministry. Is there anything that, like you were saying about the paperwork, are they able to do the paperwork, or is that too kind of?
Yeah, they're not. They do a lot of classwork themselves because they do a lot of Christian studies, and that's what the model of the program is discipleship. And so and they're unable to see some of those documents that have to be reported, or financials and things like that they're just not allowed to see because they're students in the program, and they live here 24/7, so they don't get to go home. The program's 9 months for each of them. And so the night take is here when I leave, and I have to have volunteers in place. So some of the volunteers can do some of that in the evening for me. And as we figure out what that looks like, it makes it a little easier. Which will free me up to do the reading, because with school, I've counseled long enough that the material's not hard to grasp for me. It actually improves my ability to do what I do, which is why I chose this particular course. But there's a lot of reading, and it's as interesting as some of it is. You know, some of it is monotonous, and some of it I check out because I've already read some of that material. And then what I'm finding in my social work classes is that you have to read very, very thoroughly, because you'll miss it, and there's no way to go back. I've missed it, and there's no way to go back in the time that's allowed and like kind of find those answers, because there's so much material. And so for me to find that quiet place that I can read, because I really, when I get home, I want to be with my kids because I've given all of my day here. And so just really, I've been trying to do some time management things to help me, and that's not my natural nature. It's I'm not, I don't easily schedule. And so I'm responsible for about 12 people's schedule right now. And
wow,
that's just not my strength. So we're going to start interviewing administrators. So in the name of Jesus, I will have one within this next month or before they come back from Christmas break. That's my prayer. But for right now, I just need to figure out how I can keep myself de-stressed, because the other thing is that once my time's all used up and I know that something's coming due, and that demand is there, then I have the stress that goes with it. And so I almost can't calm my brain down enough to do it, if that makes sense. So.
It does. So there's just so much going on, and where to start, and, you know, then there's just another thing, and it all just can end up being really overwhelming. Well, I have to say that you said that your strong suit isn't necessarily time management and things and scheduling and things like that, but it has to be said that it's probably a lot better than you might think it is, because it takes a lot to manage one person, your own schedule, let alone all those other people's schedules. So, I mean, maybe you might think to your standards that it's not very efficient, but to just one person, I know me personally, it's hard enough for me to just do my own schedules. I can't even imagine, and my kids, I can't even imagine doing you're a director of a whole ministry and everybody's schedules and just having all that. So, I mean, it's reasonable, and you got to cut yourself a little bit of credit that, if it's not everything's 100%, but just remember how much you're doing, and that in itself is impressive. But I want to ask you, how do you see all the things in your life that you're trying to manage? Have you ever, sat down and kind of wrote out your priorities, which ones kind of the head priority, and then kind of put them in that order?
Well, it's funny because this year I didn't buy, and I know it's not all about the planner, but there's a Tools for Wisdom website, and they have a planner that tells you to do that. So in the beginning of each month, you do prioritize. And so when I was using that planner until it ran out in like August, which is when the ministry took in the first students, probably would have been wisdom for me to get a Tools for Wisdom planner. But when that happened, I stopped doing that. And so I really should begin to do that again, because it's definitely something that helped me to see what was top priority and what needed to be done first per day. And for me, my school is priority, but it doesn't look like it when I look at the 10% off for late assignments that I have. So, so I think that would be a good idea. Yes, to start doing that again.
Well, I mean, we can make kind of like a quick list here and maybe get you in the habit of that while you're, I would recommend going out and getting that if you think that's something that would work for you. Now, sometimes we have our things in priorities, but, you just said school's probably one of the main priorities right now, but it doesn't look like that. But I mean, recognizing that it's the main priority and then kind of setting your goals and managing what needs to be done first over everything else. Like you said, that a lot of times you'll be trying to do schoolwork or something and take a little bit of time to do schoolwork, and you have the door shut, but everyone's knocking, and obviously that's understandable. You can't just, you're there and you're the director, so they need you. But is it reasonable to think that maybe there could be like a certain thing that you kind of readjust throughout the day, like that everybody kind of knows, even if it's just a little bit of time, to prioritize, since school is that priority?
Absolutely. And I really should not have a problem doing that, because these women coming out of addiction, one thing I know is I'm not codependent anymore, and I don't need to be codependent. And if I'm opening the door and they know I'm busy, that's codependency, and I'm trying to teach them not to be. But the other is people that are coming out of addiction, instant gratification is automatically like A1 for each person that's coming out of addiction. And so I would probably do them a favor by not automatically opening the door and saying, come in. Because typically when they do come in, I send them back out and tell them to go pray and talk to Jesus and then come talk to me. So, definitely reasonable to set aside a time.
Or even if you could think of somebody else too, because what you said right there, it would be almost beneficial to certain aspects, but at the same time, it might be hard for you, for the chance that it might be hard for you to turn someone away during that allotted time. Is there somebody that maybe could kind of be your assistant during that small, if you will, during that small period of time?
I actually typically stay past the time that my volunteer gets here in the evening. So I think if I set aside from 6 to 7, and then I can get myself up a little earlier in the morning to read. And if I set aside the time from 6 to 7 while my volunteer's here, then I can still be finished in time to go and see my husband for his dinner break at work. And I'll get an hour of quiet time because there will be a volunteer here, so they won't have to disturb me. And if I'm here at the office, it prevents me from feeling guilty for not spending time with my daughters. And so it would alleviate or eliminate. And truthfully, they're both teenagers. So from 6 to 7, they don't really care if they see me. If they want to watch a movie, it's usually a little later than that, because they don't go to bed till like 10 o'clock. Toddler days, and then other times I'm like, well, they can put themselves in the bed though. So
yeah,
but do go to bed a little later, and typically that probably 5 to 8 they're really doing their own thing, homework and whatever thing they choose to do. My oldest daughter likes Xbox One, and her younger sister is an Instagram and fan fiction. So that would work for me to be able to and class actually I could do 5 to 7. I'm writing notes. Actually, I could do 5 to 7 because the last class that I teach in the day ends at 5 o'clock, and they're eating dinner, and I don't typically eat dinner with them. So so they're not going to come talk to me during dinner. It just doesn't ever happen that way. That's the one time I know that they're not knocking on my door. It's when it's time for them to go to the table. So yeah, I think I'm really excited about that, actually. Yep.
Well, it sounds like just that small little, I mean, it's not little, it's kind of, but that just setting aside that time, making that one little change, sounds like it's going to affect, it would be good for your marriage, which you had mentioned some things about, because you'll get that time to eat with your husband. It won't interfere with your kids. So it kind of alleviates that stress, because I know a lot of times with moms that are going to school, that's a big thing, is, having to do school, and then it takes over the family time and stuff. And it doesn't sound like it would be interfering with, your ministry either. So, with you said you're interviewing for some administrative workers, so you have that, which will hopefully help with managing some stress at the ministry. And then if you set that allotted time for school every day, and then that will somehow hopefully help manage your stress. So I hope that you can stick to setting that 5 to 7. I would recommend maybe letting some people know, kind of making it known that that's your time. I don't know if you have to maybe put a sign on the door, come in, but, or do something like that, or you said when that volunteer's there, could say, maybe have a little message and then say, if necessary, see, the volunteer or something, kind of, so that way you're not distracted. And then also I would recommend getting that Tools for Wisdom planner again that you had mentioned, because it sounds like even just doing this one, this one step in managing has already seemed to, open some doors for you and stuff like that. So I think that if you had that planner and you could do this on a monthly basis, I feel like you think that would be pretty beneficial for you.
I absolutely do. And the Tools for Wisdom planner has, regular calendar that covers 2 pages. And then it has each hour's blocked off. Like it's like an appointment book as well. So I can go ahead and like block off that time indefinitely, as long as I know I'm going to be doing classes. I mean, obviously we have some school break at some time. And so I think what I might do with that is keep it blocked off and take some extra devotion time or kickback time.
That's a good idea, because when you're stressed out too, you have to remember part of managing stress isn't just managing the things that cause the stress, but, self-care, different self-care strategies and things like that. So maybe try to set up an allotment time for that as well, like you said, within that 5 to 7 period you had. But unfortunately, this looks like it will be our last session. So I feel confident in with you getting that planner and you having this time allotted. And I will be praying for the administrative positions that are coming in for you and for your ministry. And just it takes a lot to be the director. So I will be continuously praying over you, and just for you to be the best director for that ministry. I mean, God put you in that place. So I will continue to pray for you in that. Is there anything else? Did you have any other issues you want to discuss with the stress management, or
no, ma'am. I think really I'm excited. I'm like, I took me some notes and I'm going to do something with this. And I'm just, thank you so much.
Thank you. I will. God bless you.
Bless you.